Good morning, everybody. Today is Saturday, April 24th, and the FCS playoffs start today. So that's awesome. What's up, Tom? What's up, Ryan?
Not a whole lot, man. I'm still in awe of what I saw at the Met game last night, man. I mean, that was just crazy.
Degrominant.
The Gromination.
That's
The
I mean,
Degrominator.
I'm finally happy that you guys have a little love now. Like, you stole my favorite player. I don't like you. Um, but yes, we will be finishing the last 16 picks of our mock draft that we started on Wednesday today. Ryan has a today in sports history or fact though, so we have to start with that.
Yeah,
100%.
today in sports, 27 years ago, 1994, we are talking about the NFL draft today. The all infamous clip of Mel Kiper telling the Indianapolis Colts for not taking Trent Dilfer when they need a franchise quarterback, when all they have is Jim Harbaugh. Then you have Bill Polian come on and say, "Who the hell is Mel Kiper? He has no more credentials than my neighbor, and he's a postman." I mean, that was 27 years ago today. And I mean, it sort of began the true, I guess, nationwide fantasizing of Mel Kiper. It's tremendous.
All right, so I have two facts about Mel Kiper. I don't know if you guys know this, but during the draft, like he doesn't go to the bathroom. He doesn't
not.
pee.
He does
He doesn't pee at all. And his favorite like sweet dessert to eat is like he eats pumpkin pie with whipped cream all year round.
Yep.
What?
I think
he makes his wife Kim bake him pumpkin pie, although he does like store-bought better, but he does have his wife make it for him as well. But he has to have the whipped cream. It's fun. I love hearing these stories about the pumpkin pie because he goes on a tangent about the pumpkin pie just like he'll go on a tangent about Trevor Lawrence. It's so funny.
That sounds awesome. I have to look this up.
I love Mel Kiper.
And so, as someone who has, I think it's 9 drafts that I've attended, I can vouch for the fact that he never gets up from his seat. He is, and especially day 3. Day 3 is just is ongoing, and he does not.
Yeah, he definitely has like a bottle connected to a tube or something.
He's definitely catheterized.
100%. Yeah. Like there has to be something going on there. There's no way you can not go to the bathroom for like 12 hours straight or whatever day 3 is.
It's even harder on day 3 too because like just going to the bathroom is just probably a good break in day 3. Like
he's not on camera nearly as much on day 3 as he is on 1 or 2.
Yeah. Mel Kiper is I mean, hey, he found his thing. Like I always respect Joe Lunardi because Joe Lunardi, I think, literally sits in his basement year round just thinking about who's going to make the NCAA tournament next year. So he's got that.
Joe Lunardi is usually more spot on with his stuff than Mel Kiper is.
Yeah, it's I assume I mean obviously we know being like a scout like that has got to be hard, but it is funny if you hear like McShay and Kiper go back and forth like about some of their worst picks. So,
well, I mean the famous one that everyone remembers is and Todd McShay brings it up to him all the time. Mel Kiper said, "If Jimmy Clausen is not an NFL star, then he'll quit."
Surprised he still has his job.
Yeah, they're like I said, I respect those guys because year round they're just able to like focus on one thing and not even just one sport. It's like a niche of a sport. So anyone who has that much passion for the NFL draft, hey, I love it. But all right, so let's go over our first 6 picks, or 16 picks real quick. So we obviously started on Wednesday. We agreed Trevor Lawrence was the unanimous number 1. Didn't really surprise anyone. And then Tom took Zach Wilson for the Jets, and I believe Ryan, you took Fields then for San Francisco. All right, and then came back to me. I have Kyle Pitts going to Atlanta. Tom then has Sewell going to Cincinnati. Go ahead.
I said Cincy, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And then Chase is going to who has the 6th pick? Oh, it's Miami. Miami, yeah.
Miami.
That's
as of now.
That's scary thinking about that. And then 7 Waddle, 8 Rashawn Slater, 9 Trey Lance, 10 Patrick Surtain to the Cowboys, 11 Micah Parsons. Ryan, you picked that one for the Giants.
Yep.
And then 12th, the Eagles get J.C. Horn. Then the Vikings, I believe, go with Elijah Barrett-Tucker, who probably could play.
No, that's
Chargers. Gotcha.
Vikings
and then,
are 14.
Vikings then take Devonta Smith, as we talked about with Adam Thielen, maybe it being his last year. And then, of course, Mac Jones falls to 15, where he gets scooped up by the New England Patriots. And then 16 to the Cardinals, Greg Newsome out of Northwestern. So looking back on that, guys, how do we think we did?
I think it's a little chalk. Some surprises. Everything is going to be determined by what the 49ers do at number 3. And you hear all these rumors that maybe what if they did it for Kyle Pitts to put Kyle Pitts and George Kittle on this? They're not trading 3 first-round picks for a tight end when they have the best or the second best tight end in the entire NFL. So
right.
But everything's going to be determined by the pick at number 3, and then stuff that we can't control right now is trades.
I was just going to say the other thing that could completely mess up the draft is if Miami truly does want to slide down again. I mean, if they trade down and we see another team move into that 6th spot, we could see another quarterback go off the board very early. And that just would completely change the entire landscape, because then once they take a quarterback, I believe that's 4 off the board in the first 6 picks. That means there's only one of those top 5 guys left, and everyone's going to get frantic that we have getting quarterback later, i.e. the Patriots might have to trade up.
It would not shock me to see 5 quarterbacks in the top 10.
Yeah.
When all is said and done.
Mm-hmm.
I agree completely. I think that it's the trajectory we're kind of headed on. So we have had some new developments, a little bit, kind of. What do we think about Justin Fields' stock with him? He was a good dude. Obviously, it's much more important that he actually told teams about it. But he is battling epilepsy, which I know what it is. I've had family members that have had it. What is our take on that, you think?
From what I've been reading, a lot of the doctors that he visited say that he'll grow out of it. I don't see it necessarily as a huge step back. It is something to consider, I guess, for teams. But if it's something that he can work through and work with people on and grow out of eventually, I don't really see it affecting him long term. Yeah,
and again, there are so many different stages of epilepsy. It affects everybody differently. And from everything that I've even heard with Ryan Day, he said Ryan Day has known about this. This isn't anything new to him, and he said that it didn't affect any practices, any games for him, and he doesn't expect it to affect him in the future. But maybe this may this may be huge for the 49ers. Because now the 49ers, they may have these Jones and Fields so close together that maybe this is now a tiebreaker that they end up going Jones over Fields if it really is that close.
Yeah. So oddly enough, like for me, I don't mind Jalen Waddle coming into the NFL with a torn ACL, but this thing with Fields actually does scare me a little bit, just because it's a condition. It's not like being injured. And like I would say,
when did Waddle tear his ACL?
Yeah, no, he had an ankle injury.
Bro, whatever.
Okay.
Same thing.
The broken ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, every time I just hear about a guy who missed all the full season, I'm just like, must have been an ACL. ACL or MCL. But like I said, this does worry me. I would still have him as probably my number 2 quarterback, but this puts Trey Lance a lot closer to him for me, and I think that obviously it depends on what the 49ers do, but I looked at that more seriously than maybe I should have, but that kind of got to me.
Sorry, did everyone hear that?
Yeah, what was that?
Okay, I had clicked to a different tab and it opened up the stream on Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I guess I took it lighter than obviously you had, Justin, but maybe lighter than even most people because I don't think it's going to really affect him long term. It shortens the gap between QB2 and QB3 for me, but not by a whole lot because I think I trust a lot of what the doctors and what Coach O'Day was saying, and I don't really see it being a problem going forward. But who knows?
Coach O'Day.
Yeah.
Coach O'Day.
Yeah.
You mean Day? Coach Day, not
Coach
O'Day.
Day?
I
don't know.
All right, and then so like I said, I think we all have our takes on that. But I don't think it's gonna affect it that much. But I will say I agree with you, Ryan, that if like the 49ers have like literally a sliver, this gives Mac Jones like the edge, I believe. And then we had another news. Tom, why don't you fill us in about the Chiefs and the Ravens?
Yeah, so yesterday around I think it was like around 3:00 maybe. The Chiefs acquired Orlando Brown from the Ravens for 3 picks. But what's interesting about this trade is not only did they get Orlando Brown, but they got 2 picks back in return. So essentially, it was Orlando Brown and 2 picks for 3 picks. And I have the numbers for the picks to try and break it down a little bit. It's going to get confusing. So the Chiefs get Orlando Brown, a 2021 second-round pick, which is number 58 overall, and a 2022 sixth-rounder. In return, the Ravens get the 31st overall pick, the 2021 third-rounder, which is 94, a 2021 fourth-rounder, which is 136, and a fifth. I guess that's actually 4 picks. Yeah, it was 3 picks this year. So basically, they traded Orlando Brown and 2 picks for 3 picks this year and 1 pick next year. In all honesty, I think it's an absolute steal for the Chiefs. I mean, the Orlando Brown's young. He's got a lot of talent. He can play left tackle, which is very rare for guys in the NFL today. And they basically gave out nothing in comparison because you're giving up a 31st pick, which is still a first round pick, but it's a low end. It's like I equate it to a second rounder basically because you're not getting one of those top guys. But and then you traded a third and a fourth this year, which I guess that's a majority of your draft, but you're getting Orlando Brown.
Right, and Casey, remember, Casey's also getting a second, so it's basically swapping a 1 for a 2.
Yep.
And getting Orlando Brown plus a couple later round picks. Yeah. Obviously, I think Kansas City was in the driver's seat because everyone and their mother knew that Baltimore was trading Orlando Brown, which is kind of why I was even – you go back and now you look at the whole thing with Sam Darnold. I was shocked that the Jets actually got as much for Darnold as they did because everyone knew that the Jets were going to be taking Zach Wilson. It's not a mystery, but they were still able to get a 2, a 4, and a 6 from him. But Kansas City was in the driver's seat. Orlando Brown is worth a late 1 just straight up.
Yes.
And now you're basically – so if you do that, if you say Orlando Brown for the number 31, then you're getting a second-round pick for a third, a fourth, and a fifth.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
So I don't really understand what Baltimore's doing there. Like, if anything, I think Baltimore should be beefing up the line. Like they have their championship window for like 3 or 4 more years. Like,
and it looks like, I don't know if you saw, but they're saying that it's not going to be official until after the draft, but it looks like they're bringing in Alejandro Villanueva from the Pittsburgh Steelers to replace Orlando Brown on the line. So Villanueva, I mean, he's definitely a step down from Orlando Brown, but it's not a tremendous step down.
See, I think Brown plays tackle, but I thought Villanueva played guard.
No, he was the Pittsburgh left tackle.
Oh.
I told you that, Tom.
I don't know. I feel like I've definitely seen him play guard, though. I feel like he is one of those utility guys.
It's crazy that after the Chiefs lost the Super Bowl, that it's not crazy, but I mean they're right back. They got to be the favorites in the AFC, right?
Yeah.
Or Buffalo, Denver, Buffalo.
I mean, and so, from my perspective, like if you're the Chiefs or if you're the Ravens, excuse me, yes, you should be beefing up the line and you should be trying to give Jackson as much time in the backfield. But the reason that they got rid of him was because he wanted to play left tackle. Their left tackle, I think, right now is Ronnie Stanley. Is that right?
Yep.
Why would you trade him away? Like he's younger and he's just as talented.
No. We'll have a major disagreement there. Ronnie Stanley, to me, is one of the top 5 left tackles in the league.
Oh, I other than Bathraki, I would probably take Ronnie Stanley over 90% of the league. No, you're wrong there, Tom. Ronnie Stanley. I mean, if Notre Dame does do anything incredible, I mean, the linemen that Notre Dame send out it's insane. They're all always good. So,
and you got 4 of them in this year's draft.
Who's the guy that plays right tackle that came out of Notre Dame? He had a little bit of a rough year last year, but I mean, it's crazy. But
everyone on San Fran had a rough year last year.
That's true. So is there any news that I missed other than that?
I think it's mock draft time.
All right, good. I don't really see anything else.
I do think that unless we have like a real disagreement, we should move a little bit faster through these than we did on Wednesday. But other than that, so I picked Newsome.
So Tom would be on the board with Vegas here at 17.
All right.
Is that with me lined up for Cleveland at 26 then?
You and Tom are going to have to flip-flop 25 and 26.
Okay, that's fine. Cool.
Let me just get this up.
You could have been doing that, Tom.
I was looking up the rest of the news. Okay, so I'm up with Vegas here.
Yeah, I think this is going to be interesting. I think these last 16 picks are going to be interesting. So you're up, Tom.
Right. So looking at Vegas, I know that they traded away a lot of their O-line in the offseason, or they let them loose or something. So I'm tempted to go Darisaw here, but because we're looking at what the Raiders would do, not what we think they should do, I feel like Mayock and Gruden are going to look for one of those off-the-board guys that have a lot of potential. And I know that they addressed this need, I guess, a little bit in the offseason, but I have a really strong suspicion that they could go with Azeez Ojulari here. And I don't know why, but he just feels to me like a guy that the Raiders are going to jump the gun on.
Ryan?
Yeah. Ojulari is not my favorite pick.
Not mine either.
But I could say, I mean, he is a Raider type player because they care about speed, and he's one of the better speed rushers, if not the best speed rusher in the game, in the draft. Going to get pushed around by the physical tackles who have good feet. Mm-hmm. But here I am at 18, and we'll just run up to the podium and get Christian Darisaw down in South Beach. They wanted Penei Sewell maybe at number 6. They were able to give Tua Tagovailoa a new target with Jamar Chase, but here we go. We're going to get the tackle. Darisaw, He's one of those guys that may get beaten by Ojulari. He's not one of the quicker footed offensive tackles in this class, but he brings the nasty. He'll go right over to the right tackle spot, kick hard into guard, and I think it's a tremendous value pick for me with Miami at Darisaw with 18.
Yeah, I'm not as high on Darisaw as you are, but like he said, Ryan said, it makes sense. I do want to go back to real quick the Ojulari pick. I didn't say anything about it. I think if the Raiders are going to reach, I think they're going to go for an offensive guy. Like Najee Harris just keeps popping in my head for the Raiders because it makes no sense.
No, because they have Josh Jacobs and they just signed Kenyon Drake as well.
I know, I know, but it's the Raiders. Maybe you never know. Yeah. They might want like a stable of 3 of them.
Mike Mayock's not that stupid.
I hope not. But yeah, no, so I get. So. Yeah, I think Darisaw is eventually going to be good, really, really good. I think he coming out is a kind of a comp to Mekhi Becton a little bit, but more of a power guy, not necessarily a finesse guy. All right, so with pick 19, this is the Raiders as well.
Washington.
I have no idea what the order is. So, so obviously Washington can use. Hold on, give me a sec.
I could put up.
All right, so what?
Nothing. Go ahead.
So Washington, I'm looking. They just signed Ryan Fitzpatrick, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. I think they're going to go with one of the. No. It makes sense they should beef up their defensive line more, but they'll probably go offensive route. I really like Jalen Phillips to go on the right side, a lot better than Rousseau. So I think if you paired Jalen Phillips with obviously Clowney, what's his name? Chase Young. And then you have Jonathan Allen on the inside. I mean, and they've done a great job. I think they have Sweat too, so this doesn't make a lot of sense, but I'm going with it right now.
Jalen Phillips?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, I mean, there's obviously what they need is a quarterback, but with Fitzpatrick, I mean, Tom, we talk about it all the time. Fitzpatrick is, yeah, I mean, he's just the best, so. Who's up with 20?
I believe I have him with the Bears, and I think this one's a no-brainer. So I'm also gonna take Ryan's move and run up to the podium. I think if he's still sitting on the board thus far, they really need a wide receiver guy. And Ryan or Justin, you and I have talked about it, and the fit that goes here. I'm searching for his name. I don't know why he's so low. Right. Oh, there it was. I saw it. Where was he?
Just type in Rashad Bateman.
No. We're going with another wide receiver here. We're going with Kadarius
I know.
Toney.
Yes.
He's the exact type of guy that the Bears would go for.
I'm 100% with you on Tom. I'm 100% with you on that one, Tom.
They're going to reach down. They're going to look past Bateman because of the fit, and he'll play well off of Allen Robinson in their eyes.
Yeah, but Allen Robinson's gone after this year. They're going to need a new X for next year, and unless you're looking at Terrace Marshall later in the draft, he probably wouldn't be there in the second round. Maybe a Nico Collins. You're going to need to find someone to replace eventually. Allen Robinson, because Allen Robinson will not be the Chicago Bear in 2022.
It's hard, but he's the exact type of guy the Bears look to play with. He's exactly like Mooney, and he's exactly like Anthony Miller, who they're looking to trade.
And they both suck.
Look, man, like I said, this is not what we would do. This is what we think the teams are going to do. I'm going with Toney, bro. He's the exact type of guy the Bears love to play with.
All right. Well, I guess that leaves more good players for me at Indy at 21.
Yeah.
This one, I'm looking at a potential left tackle to replace the retired Anthony Costanzo. But I do think that tackle is so deep this year, you're going to be able to find somebody. Maybe you trade up into the earlier part. Oh no, they don't even have their second round pick because they traded it in the Carson Wentz deal. So maybe they do have to look for a left tackle here. All right, let's do it. We'll go Tevin Jenkins.
Ooh,
I like that pick. If I was the Bears, that's who I would have taken. I think this is the part of the draft where also, Jesus, Ryan.
That's not me.
Oh, that's me.
What?
All right. Okay. Sorry. That was me.
What I miss?
So you got Tevin Jenkins, and then 22. Is this me again?
Yeah, this is you.
You with Tennessee. All
right. Tennessee can go a lot of ways here. I think they have to go defense. And as much as I want Caleb Farley to fall to the Browns, I think they'll take Farley and then build from there.
Yeah, it's a solid pick as long as he can stay healthy and on the field.
Didn't they just lose what's his name?
Dory Jackson to the Giants.
Yeah,
I go ahead, Tom.
I was just gonna say I agree 100% with that pick there. I think it's a steal.
Yep.
I think this is where you could see a flurry. I think because this is I think I have like 6 more definite first rounders here, so I think it's going to be interesting.
So if Indy had a second round pick that they could potentially grab an offensive tackle with in the second, Caleb Farley would have gone to Indy at 21.
Yeah. Didn't they just re-sign Xavier Rhodes though?
Yeah, but he's on a 1-year deal. He's
1 year deal. He's on the back 9 of his career.
Yeah, who's I can't think who's our slot corner. Is it Pierre Desir?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Hey, that's more of the old Browns organization being great drafters for other teams.
Right. Yeah.
All right, who's up at 23?
I am, and I've been sitting here this whole time. I've been quiet because I'm trying to bring myself to do something I really don't want to do. Justin, you know that every time we've talked about this first round pick for the Jets, I've been having them take running back, and with Najee still on the board here, I would love to see it, but I just really don't, unfortunately, see them happening with this one guy that's left on the board. We got to go with the Notre Dame product, Rusu Koroma. I mean,
seeing him in jet green is going to kill me.
It is, but if he's on the board, there's no way Saleh passes up on him. He needs a stud middle linebacker, and the Jets just don't have one, especially after trading away Avery Williamson midseason last year. I really would love to see a running back, but he's too good to pass up for the defense.
So, Ryan, I'll ask you, because you probably watched the most of him in college. I obviously really just watched his dominating plays. Where do you think he's going to play in the pros? Because I've seen a lot of
the hybrid, sort of like a Budda Baker. He'll play inside on running downs. He can cover tight ends, slots, on passing downs. He is as versatile to me. I mean, he's Isaiah Simmons. Simmons is a little more physical. He's got a bigger frame, but I think the coverage ability for Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is just it's unbelievable. He shuts people down, and he may be the best blitzer in the draft too.
Yeah, I think he's definitely good. He gets scary off the edge, and obviously we saw that in the Clemson game. So, So who's at 24?
24 to Pittsburgh. So it'll be me.
Okay.
Again, I this is where I think Pittsburgh is going to be able to. They need to fix that offensive line. I think they'll be able to fix that maybe a little later in the draft. They have a glaring need to replace on the defensive side of the ball with the departure of Bud Dupree. And I mean, Kwity Paye is just staring me in the face. You put Kwity Paye in that defensive system, and he's going to feast. He's going to have single teams because he's going to be playing opposite TJ Watt. Kwity Paye is actually someone I would consider for the Giants at 11. So that's how big of a steal I think this is here.
I don't know, man.
I think it's gonna be very hard for Pittsburgh to pass up Najee Harris.
Yeah, I mean they don't have a stud running back.
Yeah, but what's the point of bringing in a stud running back if you don't have an offensive line to block for him?
Yes, and you're probably right because Pittsburgh is one of the smarter teams out there, so they're not just going to do that.
Pittsburgh will be able to. They'll be able to get more out of Trey Sermon in the third round than other teams would.
That's true.
Yeah. If they can pick up a good one like that later, Kwity Paye is an absolute steal for them at 4. I mean, a lot of people have him as one of the premier like linemen in the draft. So, all right. But like I said, that makes me really happy, Ryan, because I don't want to see Najee Harris anymore ever.
So that was in what was that 2016, the Laramie Tunsil draft. That was where Dallas was picking at number 4, and I was hoping they would end up with Bosa because I said I just do not want to see Ezekiel Elliott in my division with that offensive line.
Yeah, look how that turned out. So then, Justin, in order to give you the Browns here, do you want me to pick for the Jaguars?
Yeah, you're going to pick for the Jags here, Tom.
Okay. Ooh, so the Jaguars got their stud quarterback with the 1 pick in Trevor Lawrence. I feel like their run game is good because they have James Robinson, I think, who ran for over 1,000 yards last year. I could see them going and getting him, Trevor Lawrence, another weapon and taking Bateman. But I think with the point that you were just making about the Steelers, Ryan, they don't really have an O-line. I couldn't even name one of the guys on their offensive line at this time. So I'm going to go with a guy who I have ranked higher than Tevin Jenkins, and I'm going to go with Samuel Cosme. Wait, is that
Big dude.
Yeah. Well, and he's quick.
6'7", 315. He can move.
Yeah.
It's weird that you would say that someone that big needs to be a little more physical, but he needs to learn how to be a little more physical.
And I think once he starts getting that paycheck to play football, he'll be going all out for it.
So you got Cosme out of Texas. This is me with the Browns. I think this is the latest the Browns have picked since the 90s. I'm not kidding. I think it is. This is a really tough spot for me because Barmore is staring you in the face right there. I don't love him, and I don't think that position is more of value. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go with Asante Samuel Jr., the corner out of Florida State. Like I said, he's got pro bloodlines, and I think the Browns did enough after getting rid of Sheldon Richardson. With people forget they signed Andrew Billings 2 years ago, and he opted out this season, so he should be coming back this year. And Malik Jackson is okay. He's a little bit of a poor man's Sheldon Richardson, and I think you can find a lot of depth at that position later in the draft. Whereas I'd rather take a shot on Samuel right now, and if he's good, he's good, and if he's not, we took a shot at him.
I love Hassan. I think he's the most underrated cornerback in this draft. Again, you talked about the bloodlines. I love. He's just got the prototypical size, speed, strength that you want out of your modern day cornerback.
Yeah, and just because this is the Browns and it kind of matters. I just think that defense is. I mean, they're one solid corner away from. I think being almost on the same level is at least Buffalo, maybe not the Chiefs yet, but. And like I said, you can find depth at that later in the draft. And I mean, and I will say I saw it. Samuel has played a little bit inside, hasn't he?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Browns are going to have the youngest, either the greatest defensive backfield in the world or just the youngest and the dumbest and overhyped. So, yeah, but I like the pick. I'm good. After I saw Farley after I knew I would have 22nd, I knew Farley was going to go. I looked more into Asante Samuel. There are good corners in this draft. I think one really good one is Elijah Molden out of Washington. Yeah. But he's a second, third round pick. All right, who's up?
I am up with Baltimore, and I mean this could not have matched up any better for the Baltimore Ravens. They get Rashad Bateman, wide receiver out of Minnesota. He's going to be their X receiver.
Yeah,
it'll allow Marquise Brown to go either into the slot or into the Z, which is where he belongs because he's not an X receiver in the NFL. And now, granted, there isn't a large timeshare of targets to be dealt out in this Baltimore offense, but they need someone who can be a chain mover, and that's Rashad Bateman to a T.
I love that pick for them. Obviously, I don't like it because I hate the Ravens, but he seems like the type of receiver, like that big, a strong, physical receiver that's gonna be really like almost like a safe blanket for Lamar Jackson, I think. So yeah. I like that.
And it's fine because he ends up in Baltimore. I can see an easy comp for him as being Anquan Bolden.
Oh yeah, I agree. That's a good one. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring up as well that drafting Bateman, they're going to get out of him what they thought they were going to get out of Des Bryant before he got injured again. He's just going to be that big physical end zone guy that they could throw it up to. So yeah, I love the player comp.
All right, so now Justin, you'll be back up with New Orleans here.
Okay. New Orleans is a mess. Jason O is still on the board, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they'll go with Owa. I just don't know what you do if you're the Saints right now. Like, I'm not going to get started on the Saints. Okay, I just go with Owa. Yeah, I like him. I think him, Rousseau, Phillips, and a guy that's really fallen off like people's draft boards. Who's the guy out of Wake Forest, Ryan?
Carlos Basham. That's my guy.
Yeah. He didn't test as well as I thought he would, but I think he's a good one. But Jason O is still on the board. The Big Ten has proven that they could send good edge rushers to the league and good defensive linemen to the league. So yeah.
Yeah, I really like Owa. Yeah, I agree. The Saints is a very difficult team to kind of predict what they're going to do. Moving on to the pack. What?
Who's up?
I am. Okay. The Packers have – everyone knows they have a very glaring need at receiver. But again, because we're trying to figure out what they're going to do, I don't know if they're actually going to jump on the gun of taking Terrace Marshall, who I think they should take.
Terrace.
Yes.
I said Terrace. Yeah, my bad. So yeah, I don't see them jumping the gun, even though I really do think they should. I think that they could end up going defense here for some reason. And with the guys that are left on the board, I mean, I think this is a really solid pickup for them if they were to take top guy on the board and take Barmore. I don't know if I think I'm going to go with that.
To me, it's really the only logical landing spot for a defensive tackle in the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say if Barmore's still on the board and he doesn't go with this 129, I have a feeling the Browns are going to try like hell to get back into that first round to basically get Barmore and then I mean, that's the dream off season right then for the Browns. So I would have no problem. Obviously, I don't want to give away next year's number one, but I have no problem giving up both our thirds to get back in for Barmore.
All right, I'm up at number 30 with Buffalo, and again, this will be another one of those run to the podium. Najee Harris.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Buffalo has one of the most solid lineups up and down of anyone in the entire league. If there is a hole on this team, it's at running back, because I do not believe in Devin Singletary. I do not believe in Zach Moss. And Tom, I know you have both of them on your dynasty team.
No, not my dynasty. I had him in a keeper league.
Oh, yeah. Keeper. Okay. I do not expect much out of Moss or Singletary. Yeah. And now you bring in the best running back in the class. Someone that could easily be picked 15 spots higher than this. So Najee Harris just makes that Buffalo offense as dangerous as it's ever been. And that's going back to the early 90s.
Yeah. Me and Tom talked a lot about Buffalo during free agency. I think they made a big mistake not going and go full in on Hunter Henry. Mm-hmm. No, I mean that offense is going to be lethal. Diggs, that sucks. They're in the AFC too. Great.
AFC East. They're going to get at least 6 wins, or 4 wins out of the AFC East alone.
All right. 31, right?
You got the Ravens.
All right.
And no, you cannot pick a 7th rounder here for the
Ravens. So, luckily for the Ravens getting back up to 31, I think they're going to look to kind of replace Trent Brown. Might as well. There's Orlando Brown, not Trent. Not Trent Brown. So I have 2 tackles still on the board, and I like both of them, but Ryan, you're gonna like this one. I think they'll go with Liam Eichenberg, a tackle out of Notre Dame. Like I said, they showed that they bring good talent to the league every year, and if Buffalo gets that chance to then, they give away Brown, but maybe get his replacement, I think that's a good pick.
Liam Eichenberg is never going to wow you with these physical traits, but there is nobody who is as technical as he is, especially this far down in the first round. And it's funny because this is the spot Kansas City used to be in, and I mocked Eichenberg to Kansas City every single time. So, it's a sweet spot.
The only other one you could think about is Alex Leatherwood out of Alabama, but like I said, Alabama for one they don't always produce, and like I said, I just like Eichenberg because he went to Notre Dame for the most part. So
I was actually on the Alabama Zoom for their pro day, with their media availability, and I was so turned off by Alex Leatherwood. I just did not see. Just hearing him speak about them, I did not see football intelligence. I saw very predetermined answers. Like he didn't know. He wasn't going to be able to think of anything off the top of his head. I'm not sold on the future of Alex Leatherwood in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree. Who's got 32? Tom?
So only one pick left. I think I'm going to ask Ryan for some help here so that we can get his input because he's the odd one out here. I have no idea what they're going to do with this pick. Obviously, they're defending Super Bowl champions. We saw them as a very complete team. I feel like for some reason they could go after a guy like Terrace Marshall because
Terrace.
I've said Terrace. I don't know. Yeah, that's hard.
I think
words are hard.
I think this is incredibly. I think this is incredibly easy if you're the Buccaneers. You go with the next best player on your board. Like that's
right.
it.
Yeah, they've returned all 22 starters from a Super Bowl winning team. There's not there aren't going to be any immediate holes this team has to fill. So you take the best player. Right now, to me, the best player is at linebacker, and it may not. I know it won't be the one Justin likes. It's going to be it's going to be the other one. I know me and Justin have very differing opinions on one Zaven Collins.
I don't as much anymore. Like I said, I fell in love with him because I thought the Browns needed a linebacker, and then with all the moves they made, like I've said, the Browns are going to run a 4-2-5 90% of the time. So yeah, and Zaven Collins. To me, it's just like he could end up being a super. Like I think his ceiling is one of the highest in the drafts, but also he could end up being terrible too. So,
yeah, to me, I love Jamin Davis.
I don't dislike Jamin Davis. I just, I guess I mean,
and his name is Jamin. How awesome is that?
That's a marketing pitch if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, and he probably that probably makes...
he's got a sponsorship lined up. He's jamming,
jamming Davis, baby. It's right there.
Yeah, it probably makes more sense for them to take him anyways over not Horn, Zaven Collins. Their linebackers are so good anyways. So basically, Jamin Davis can fill in where he needs to. I mean, he'll crack that 4 linebacker rotation, I would think, pretty easily.
We did it. We did it, boys.
Okay. All right. So let's I'll go over all the picks again, and then we'll give ourselves a grade, and we'll get on with our Saturdays. All right. So 1, Trevor Lawrence, 2, Zach Wilson, 3, Justin Fields, 4, Kyle Pitts, 5, Cincinnati is Sewell, 6, Chase to Miami, 7, Waddle to who's 7? Detroit, 8, Slater to Carolina.
Yep.
9, Trey Lance to Denver. 10, Patrick Surtain to the Cowboys. 11, Micah Parsons to the Giants. 12, J.C. Horn to the Eagles. 13, Elijah Vera Tucker to the Chargers. 14, Devonta Smith to the Vikings. 15, Mac Jones to the Patriots. 16, Newsome to the Cardinals. I'm written down. All right. 17, Azeez Ojulari goes to who's 17?
Raiders.
Christian Darrisaw, 18. This was the Colts?
Dolphins.
Christian Darrisaw, 19, Jalen Phillips, 20, Kadarius Toney. Well, I can't really whatever. One sec. Kadarius Toney, 21, Tevin Jenkins, 22, Caleb Farley, 23, Owusu Koromoa, 24, Kwity Paye, 25, Samuel Cosmi, 26, Asante Samuel Jr., 27, Rashad Bateman, 28, Jason Owa, 29, Christian Barmore, 30, Najee Harris, 31, Liam Eichenberg, and 32, Zaven Collins or Jamin Davis, depending on who you like.
I just want to give ourselves a round of applause for not putting Gregory Rousseau in the first round.
I listened to Bucky Brooks. He was on a podcast and he was like, he's like the only guy that opted out that it showed up bad. So yeah. I mean, because if you look at all the other guys who tested well, Jamar Chase tested off the charts. So did Sewell. So I originally thought those guys opting out would maybe have a little bit of an impact, but now I don't think it has any impact at all.
Yeah. I mean, they had a whole year to just focus on the draft, which I think helped a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's also kind of like a feather in the cap. I mean, to those guys, it means they're responsible. It means they were out doing the workouts. They didn't have a coach hounding them. So, all right. Well, that's it, fellas. Before we go, everyone go around, grade for our draft. Tom.
Yes.
A grade.
Oh, now. Okay. I don't know. Yeah, I'm bugging today. I would probably say like a B plus, maybe an A minus. I think it's going to be good. I think we're going to hit on a lot of picks that not a lot of people have thought of so far.
I think 17 through like 21 for us might be completely wrong. But that's except for Ryan's pick, because he knows a lot more and actually pays attention, because he made Darisaw and then Tevin Jenkins. So I'd say we probably got like a solid B. I mean,
yeah,
like I said, that we talked about it, but once that third pick is made, it will show us the way to whatever else is coming then. So
all right, let's. I'm going to do a little bit of rapid round with you guys.
Okay.
First name that comes to mind. First defensive player off the board.
Micah Parsons.
Surtain.
Who is the next quarterback after the top 5 that gets drafted?
Oh. Kyle Trask.
Kellen Mond.
Both of you are wrong.
Okay.
Mond would have been my other answer.
For the kid from Stanford.
Who?
The Stanford kid.
What's his name?
Davis.
Oh, is it Davis Webb?
No.
No. That guy. Okay. Yeah, I know who it is. Okay.
All right, let's see. Davis Mills. That's his name.
Yeah.
For next tight end after Kyle Pitts.
Pat Freiermuth.
Freiermuth.
Same thing.
And not the non-quarterback in this league that will make the Hall of Fame.
Oh. Waddle, I'll go with, I guess.
Penei Sewell, because Joe Thomas loves him. So,
and anyone who is going to go fishing on the day that they're drafted instead of worrying about the draft, that's all you need to know.
I'll be completely honest with you. Obviously, when I was doing 31, I was between Leatherwood and Eichenberg, and then I honestly remember Joe Thomas saying he really liked Liam Eichenberg. So I was like, okay, Joe knows, man. I was so mad when they drafted him, and now, like, I just wish he could come back in his prime and win the Super Bowl for us. But yeah, I think that Ryan. So same word association back to you then.
Okay.
So you started with first defensive off the board.
Patrick Surtain.
Okay. Quarterback ever the top 5. Oh, you said Davis.
Davis Mills.
Right.
Okay, 9 quarterback in the Hall of Fame.
Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
That's a good one, but I wanted to go Kyle Pitts.
So if he stays in line as a tight end throughout the majority of his career, there's a very good chance he just moves outside and just becomes a full-time receiver. Then it'll be a little bit harder. But if he remains a tight end his entire career, I think he has as good a shot at the Hall of Fame as anyone else.
Oh, I completely agree. I just think they're gonna. I hope whatever team gets him. Obviously, this would be then whoever
Atlanta.
But Atlanta. But Who's the guy who came out of Michigan? Oh, Devin Funchess. I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen to Kyle Pitts. I think they need to keep him because he can be in the slot. He can actually block. So I agree.
There's a big difference between Kyle Pitts and Devin Funchess, and that Kyle Pitts is actually good at football.
Yeah, well, I mean, Devin Funchess is just the most recent name I think of when you say was a tight end.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess I'll ask one question. Who wins offensive rookie of the year and defensive rookie of the year next year?
Ooh.
So I mean, it'll be hard for me to bet against Trevor Lawrence. I think he's going in there, and if they're able to fix the offensive line a little bit, add someone. He's got a pretty damn good set of wide receivers with DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault. They brought in Marvin Jones. I really like his group of pass catchers, and there's a very good chance they add someone in draft as well. Maybe even bring in someone like a Pat Fryermuth there at number 33. I mean, the way this board fell, I mean, everyone and their mother has Jacksonville taking Trayvon Moehrig at 25. So having him fit in at 33 makes a ton of sense as well. But if they bring in someone like a Pat Fryermuth there, that just adds to the targets.
I think
it would be tough to bet against Lawrence.
Yeah,
I completely agree. Offensive side of the ball. I'm looking at the defense. It's just I don't think it'll go to a corner, just because we haven't seen a corner come out and dominate. Well, no, that was just last year. Jeffrey Okudah just sucked. If Parsons does go to the Giants, I could see him winning it.
So Kwity Paye would be someone that I would go with, or even Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. He's going to be someone who's going to rack up tackles and still be able to maybe even get 3 or 4 interceptions with the way he plays coverage.
Yeah, if I were to set odds, I think the defensive player rookie of the year is going to come from between picks 21 and 28 or 21 and 27. I think that group where the teams are actually still pretty good, but they just need to plug a hole. So, with all the offensive talent that's going to be taken at the top of the draft, all it does is push the defensive talent into the laps of these good teams. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if I'm 100% sure that Bateman, obviously this, or Marshall, or someone will fall to the Browns. I just hope they don't take him. But yeah, I think we did pretty good. Anything else, fellas?
No, I think that's it. You guys covered everything I was going to
say. Make sure you tune into the FCS playoffs today. And
who do we got on board? Who do we got on board today in the FCS?
There's going to be 2 good games. Missouri State, who has the lovely Bobby Petrino as the coach. They take on North Dakota. That should be a good one. And then the best one I think is at 3:30. It is at 3:30 in the Fargo Dome. It is Eastern Washington versus North Dakota State. Eastern Washington is going to be the best offensive team that North Dakota State's seen, and it'll be the other way around on that side. And then I don't know. James Madison plays VMI. VMI had a great year. Started out their year 5-0, but then lost one, but still got in. I'd love to pick VMI, but they're just not. James Madison is. I mean, they're the Springs version of Ohio State. Didn't play a lot of games, but they're always going to be there. And then Delaware plays Sacred Heart. That's going to be probably 60-4. Southern Illinois, Weber State should be a good one. Everyone knows I'm in on Weber State. They're my national champions this year. They should have got a top 4 seed. They didn't, but they play Southern Illinois, and there's a very good chance they lose that game because Southern Illinois is from the Missouri Valley. And then the number 1 seed, South Dakota State, takes on Holy Cross. That actually might be 170,000 to 0. And then Davidson versus Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State's really good. Jacksonville State's played 11 games in less than 4 months. Am I missing any of them? Oh, and then Sam Houston State, another team I'm high on. They will crush Monmouth in Utah. So, any questions about the FCS? I'll answer them. If not, I have nothing else to say. Yeah. All right. Well, fellas, that's going to do it for today. We'll see you later.
All right.
I whatever.